Hi, it's Lynn, and today I want to talk about something that took me a long time, and honestly, two divorces and a lot of hard dating years to really understand the difference between dating from loneliness and dating with intention, because I did both, and they don't look anything alike. I got divorced the first time when I was 26. I got married when I was 21. My daughter was 11 months old when I left. We had had an argument and he slapped me. Now, my self esteem was not the best at the time, but something inside of me told me to pick up my daughter up out of the playpen and leave. So I did. Let that sink in for a second. I was a brand new mom with an 11-month-old. I was managing a restaurant working 70 to 80 hours a week, and I was suddenly single, and I was absolutely not okay, even though I told myself that I was. I think I started dating again after about a year. I don't remember exactly when, it was decades ago. But looking back, I can see exactly what I was doing. I refer to it now as my sex equals love stage. And what I mean by that is when I met somebody and he was interested in me, that felt like being chosen. It felt like proof that I was okay and that I was enough. I wasn't dating to find a partner. I was dating to feel less alone, to feel validated, to fill a space that divorce had blown wide open. And the men I attracted, they reflected exactly that, because that's how it works. Where you are on the inside shows up in who shows up on the outside. Go figure. I wasn't looking for real, I was looking for relief. And that is a really important distinction. I got remarried when my daughter was almost 5. He was a great man in a lot of ways. And one of the things that genuinely scored points with me was that he was totally open to life with a child and he was great with my daughter. And as a mom, that was huge for me. As a matter of fact, our first 5 dates were to go see The Lion King. No joke. But here's what I know now that I didn't know then. I was still not choosing from the right place. I was choosing from relief again, just a more grown up version of it. Somebody stable, someone who accepted the package, someone who checked enough boxes that I could stop looking. That marriage ended eventually too. We were married for about 11 years. And this time I had 3 children. My daughters were 14 and 9, and my son was 4. After my second divorce, I didn't date for almost 6 years. And honestly, that was probably the most important 6 years of my adult life. Not because I was doing everything right, I wasn't, not at first, but because I was in total mom mode. I was forced to get really clear on who I was outside of a relationship, what I valued, what I needed, what I was no longer willing to accept. I had 3 kids depending on me. I had to show up for them and for myself every single day. That time changed me. Slowly, quietly, it changed me. And when I did start dating again, I'll be totally honest with you, I still fully wasn't dating with intention at the beginning. As they say, whoever they is, old patterns have long roots. And the first few guys I dated, I was still putting up with stuff that wasn't working for me. Over the years, I continued to do more personal development work, and I arrived at something I hadn't had before: self awareness. I was watching myself. I was noticing what I did when chemistry showed up, how fast my standards or my non negotiables went out the window. Like when I went on a date with the nicest guy ever, even though I had told myself and him that I didn't want to date somebody with kids younger than my youngest. And to be clear, if I had met someone with a child maybe a year or two younger, that would have been fine. I could have dealt with that. But we were talking about a 3-year-old, and he was 49 or 50, and my youngest was in high school. But he was so nice that I accepted not only one date, a second date, ignoring what I had told myself. When he called the day before to confirm, I heard Barney music in the background. And my whole body physically reacted like I shuddered. And I knew I couldn't do it. So I had to cancel. For grandchildren one day, absolutely. Like after being a single parent as long as I was not interested in dating somebody with really young kids, even if the mom was involved. And we're all allowed to have preferences. What I was noticing was that I was dating from loneliness versus genuine curiosity about someone. There was a lot of trial and error through those years, a lot of first dates that went nowhere, some that went further than they should have, some that taught me exactly what I did not want, which, as my story showed, is just as valuable as knowing what you do want. And through all the trial and error and ups and downs, I was building something. I was building a real picture of the kind of relationship I actually wanted, the kind of partner and the kind of life I knew I deserved. So let's talk about this because I think so many women in this season of life are sitting exactly where I was. You've been through something, whether it's a divorce, a loss, years of being alone, and you want love. Of course you do. There is absolutely nothing wrong with wanting love. But wanting love and being ready for love are two totally different things. When you are dating from loneliness, you're not really evaluating the person in front of you. You're just feeling the relief of not being alone. You're more focused on whether he likes you than whether you actually like him. You accept things you'd never accept from a friend or ever want for your own child. And the moment chemistry shows up, everything you said you wouldn't do goes right out the window. And I know this because I lived it multiple times. Real readiness looks different. It's quieter. It's more discerning. It's being able to sit across from someone and actually ask yourself, is this what I want? Not just, does he want me? So let's talk about chemistry for a second, because I think it's one of the most misunderstood things in dating. Chemistry is real. I am not dismissing it. But chemistry is not the same as compatibility. Chemistry is not character, and chemistry is not a relationship. Chemistry is your nervous system responding to somebody. And for a lot of us, especially women who grew up in chaos or who've been through painful relationships, our nervous system got wired for a certain kind of person. Many times, someone who is unpredictable or intense or a little dangerous for those of you who like the bad boys. So when a man shows up who makes you feel electric and lit up and that can't stop thinking about him feeling, your brain says, this is it. He's the one. But sometimes that feeling is just a familiar pattern. Sometimes chemistry is your wounds recognizing his wounds. Real love, the kind I eventually found, didn't feel like that at first. It felt calm. It felt safe. It felt grounded. And I questioned it a little bit at the beginning because I wasn't used to that feeling. So I want you to hear me on this because this is really important. Chemistry is an ingredient, but it's not the whole recipe. And here's the question that changed everything for me. And I want you to sit with this one, really sit with it, not just hear me say it right now and then move on. Would you date yourself? Be honest, not the you want to be, the you are right now. Are you emotionally available? Or are you still carrying so much baggage from your past that you're bringing it into every new relationship? Are you clear on what you want? Or are you just clear on what you don't want, feel anymore? Are you showing up on the apps or in person in life as the kind of partner that you are looking for? Or are you waiting for someone to rescue you from a life you haven't fully invested in yet? I really want you to look at yourself, and you can even do it in the mirror, and just be honest. This is not about being hard on yourself. We all do that enough. It's the complete opposite. It's about taking yourself seriously enough to do the real work, because this is what changes everything. The truth is, what we attract Let me say that again. The truth is that we attract who we are. Not always, but more often than we'd like to admit. And the fastest way to change who shows up in your life is to change who you are when you show up. One of the most practical things I did during those dating years was get really specific about what I was looking for. Not a list of physical traits, not a checklist of achievements, but a relationship vision. What do I want my daily life to feel like with this person? What do I need to feel safe? What qualities are genuinely non-negotiable? Not just preferences, but non-negotiables. What kind of woman do I want to be in this relationship? So I want you to try this. Grab a journal or just a piece of paper and write out your relationship vision. Not who you want him to be, but what you want the relationship to feel like. Do you want to feel calm? Do you want to feel seen, free to be yourself, supported in your goals? Write it all down. Make it real, because you can't move towards something you haven't defined. So then, a pivotal moment for me. After years of dating, after all the ups and downs and the 2 steps forward and 1 step back, after the inner work, not that that's ever done, by the way, and after getting really clear, I had a conversation with a really good friend. And I said out loud, probably for the first time, and actually meaning it, I want to meet someone, but I know that if I don't, I'll be okay. 2 weeks later, I met my husband. And I genuinely believe that that shift, that needing love to fill a space, to being whole enough that love would be a choice, changed everything. Not just for what I was attracting, but for what I was willing to accept. I wasn't dating from scarcity anymore. I was dating from abundance, from a full life that I had actually built and that I loved, with an amazing support system I had built for myself, filled with great friends and family. And that is when real love becomes possible, not when you find the right person, but when you become the right person. I am 2-time divorced. I am a single mom. I was a single mom for almost 20 years. And I dated for about 10 years with a lot of stumbles along the way. And I found the love of my life at 56. Not because I got lucky, but because I finally did the work. Because I stopped dating from loneliness and started dating from intention. Because I answered the hard questions, including the one about whether I would date myself. Honestly, you can do this. You are doing this. And the relationship you want, it starts with the woman you're becoming. So if this video helped you, please subscribe, because we're just getting started. Every week on this channel, we talk about real love, real growth, and what it actually takes to create the relationship you deserve. Because your best relationship starts with you. And drop a comment below and tell me, because I would love to hear, what's one thing you heard today that you needed to hear. I'll see you next time.